Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to make the same graph using my data from me learning how to juggle with one hand, only two balls. We're not going crazy here. But we have, now this time we're using Excel. So again, we have 3 blocks of 10 trials. I'm just going to do something kind of nitpicky right here. Immersion center. Immersion center. Okay. So now I can see that I have 3 blocks of 10 trials, and we have our left hand and right hand for each of these blocks. So the first step that we want to do is to find the averages for each of the blocks for each hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in an equal sign and then equals AVE, average of, and then I just highlighted all the ones that I want, all the values that I want to get averaged together. Oop, I mean to call it average. Just in general, if you make a mistake down here, like av of these, if you do make that mistake, you can't fix it down here, but then you can fix it up here in this little bar. So average. Okay. So now the coolest thing that we're going to do that rocked my world. Okay, so see how the little cursor is like a little white plus sign? If you bring it to the bottom right corner, so now it's a little hand. Now if you bring it to the bottom right corner, it becomes a black plus sign. So now if you just click down and then pull it across, now we have the average for all of them. All right, so now that we have the average for each of the blocks, for each of the hands of trials, now we want to make a graph with all that information. So now what I normally do is I start a new little area down here. So I'll start block 1, block 2, block 3, and then I have my left and my right hand. So I could just type in like 25.5, but an easy workaround is that you can just write equals, and then block 2 for the left hand was this one, and then equals left hand for block 3, this one. Same thing, equals the right hand, block 1, equals right hand, block 2, and equals right hand block 3. All right, so now that we have that, I'm just going to highlight these how many boxes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 24 boxes. And now I'm going to go up here to the top and go into insert. And then I click on this little icon right here that shows a little line graph. So we're going to make a line graph. You know, you can screw around with these like fun ones, but don't overthink it. Just stick with the very first one, very first option for a 2D line. Ooh, check that out. There's our data. So we know that this is correct when you have so we want, the first thing you do when you're looking at any graph is you want to make sure that you understand what's happening on your x-axis and your y-axis. So again, in most motor learning studies, we're going to have blocks of trials on the x-axis. And so we actually don't really need any further elaboration on here on the bottom. But on the y-axis, we have all these numbers. Now this could be anything right now. We have no idea. But given what I did, I was juggling 2 balls in one hand, and I counted the number of successful catches. And so in order to add a little label to say what's actually happening here on the y-axis, I'm going to go over here up to the top again, over to add chart element, and then I want axis titles, and I want a primary vertical one. So this is going to be number of successful catches. All right. Now our chart title, we want our chart title to tell you what's happening in the actual picture. And so, so we can call this one-handed juggling performance. This little legend right here, you can move this around. You can, put it over here to the side. You can make it different sizes if you want. It's fine down here in the bottom. If you wanted to, you can change the colors of this. You can, make it whatever you want. So I'm making it colorful right now. Aside from that, you can play around with what you want I just double clicked on this and this is what showed up on the side. And so since all of our data is like above 15, we can make the lower bound, the minimum bound, like 10. So it just kind of expands our data to make it look prettier and fill up the space better. But yeah, there we go. There's our little graph. So now that we have all of our information in there, now we can actually interpret this data. So we see in block 1 that that the left hand had a greater average number of successful catches in block 1. So the left hand actually did better than the right hand in block 1. As we move into block 2, now we have the right hand that actually did better and stayed better until block 3 compared to the left hand. Now, when you look at the actual difference between the average in block 1 went from 19.6 to 34.6. So that's a pretty big jump in your average performance. Whereas the left-handed performance went from 25.5 to 29.7. So not that big of a difference in average performance. But there you go. There's how you make a cool graph about your performance or changes in performance in a motor learning study. The last thing I will note is that I haven't done a retention trial yet. So typically some kind of retention trial would happen sometime in the future to actually see the real learning that occurred. So that would happen over here on the side. I would label that retention. But then the graph would be totally complete and it'd be perfect and everything. All right, enjoy the rest of your day.